President Buhari was in Lagos earlier today, the nation's commercial center, and it was part of a couple of exercises, one of which was handing over security equipment to the police force by the Lagos state government. At that event, the president doubled down on the order of shoot the sight of those carrying AK-47 rifles illegally. The president also assures the country of the recruitment of 10,000 police officers into the police force or into the state of insecurity in the country. I have joined me tonight on the program to give some perspectives to the president's order and the state of insecurity in the land. Former Commissioner of Police, Mr. Kayode Akeremale, he joins us from our Abuja studio. Thank you, Mr. Akeremale, for your time tonight. Let's begin with the promise of 10,000 police officers. We do know that based on the police-citizens ratio, that Nigeria is lacking in personnel in terms of policing in Nigeria. We just have less than 400,000 police officers to police almost 200 million Nigerians. What will a 10,000 police officer recruitment do for the police force?
Good evening, viewers. Going by the United Nations ratio for policing, it's about 1 policeman to 400 persons, to take care of 400 persons. But if you are talking about 200 million persons now, if you look at that ratio, you know we are far from it. That number is highly inadequate. But then we have to make do with what we have and make sure that we maximize the use of the number we have. Definitely it's not enough. If you look at the nook and crannies of Nigeria, with 36 states and 1 FCT, definitely you know that that number is insignificant to curb crime nationwide. But with time, I believe that that will not be the end. It's a progressive action. Definitely they're still going to add more, and the situation will definitely improve. We did not get to this point overnight. The criminal statistics have been gradually increasing and increasing. Therefore, the response rate will have to move upward gradually. I believe there is still going to be an improvement in that number.
But definitely 10,000 is a lot of numbers from nothing. So what would you advise then? Should this be a yearly recruitment, or should it be a three-year plan? Or how do you hope that we can incrementally increase the number of police officers in Nigeria?
In fact, what used to happen in the past, it used to be monthly. At the end of every month, there used to be recruitment. You know, the number too diminishes with time. They lose men, sometimes through natural or artificial dissemination. The number begins to decrease. So it used to be on a monthly basis. I think if we cannot do on a monthly basis, then it should not go beyond quarterly. There must be replenishment of the number every quarter to cope. And more so at this particular time where the insecurity is so high, it has to be more frequent. I think we should resort to what it used to be, monthly recruitment, to replenish lost men and resources.
Quickly, before I go into that order of shoot on sight, whether or not that order is effective, let me also get your view quickly before that on the issue of state policing. I mean, when we wonder, is it the recruitment that is necessary now or focusing on state policing? Are you one of those who believe state policing is the way?
Well, I said these times with that number, now our present constitution, defective as people may think, it has some very good positive aspects. So we cannot throw away the baby with the bathwater. As far as I'm concerned, the present constitution is sufficient for anybody who does not have ulterior motive to police Nigeria. It's very clear to any legal mind that the Constitution says that the governor of a state or any commissioner of a state can give lawful order to the commissioner of police of that state, and the commissioner of that state shall obey. And the shall in law means it is compulsory, it is obligatory. So when people talk of state police, that the police they have now is not adequate for security, I believe they have their own purpose to serve. If it's national interest that they want to serve, no policeman, no governor has ever reported any commissioner are refusing to carry out his order. There is none. And the Constitution makes it clear that he must obey. So anybody saying that he wants, maybe very soon we shall get family police. Maybe we begin to look for somebody who can do our bidding. I don't believe in state police. I believe in this national police, and I believe in that particular aspect that deals with the police. And the second leg of that constitutional provision says the commissioner of police may, that's when it's in doubt, that the order that has been given is not lawful. Then he may now consult the IG. But when he knows that what is happening is criminal and he has a duty to stop it, he doesn't need to refer to anybody. The governor will tell him, go and do what is lawful. But if the governor gives him an unlawful order, he has somebody to revert to so that he will get guidance from that sector. So anybody who says he wants his own family police, I believe he has a purpose of his own to serve.
So
that's my conviction.
Okay. If you look into what the president said quickly also on the issue of shoot on sight, this is not the first time the president is saying it. Perhaps I'm hearing it for the third time that the president is saying if anyone carries AK-47, illegal AK-47 should be shot on sight. Has that order been effective? And in your mind, as a former police officer, psychologically and tactically, what is the effect of that kind of order?
Well, I have the impression that that order is preventive. That order is given in order to make people abstain from what is criminal. But it depends on the man on the ground who has to treat every case purely on his own merit. You have to examine the circumstances in which you are going to act. Does it deserve acting on the at that particular time by firing on us? And because if the police are not trained to kill immediately, they are trained to aim at the leg and disable. But if the other man is about to kill the policeman, the Constitution allows self-defense. He has to defend himself. So the order that he has given is still within the confine of the Constitution, but it is now incumbent on the person that's going to implement that order to exercise discretion to make sure that innocent people do not become victims of such order. So it depends on the man on the ground. He must exercise discretion. Every case must be treated purely on its merit.
But what would you, Mr. Kerimade, think as a way out? Because it does look like there is a kind of an overwhelming cloud hovering over our security agencies. The military overstretched, the police, the number is not enough. Sometimes they complain about lack of equipment. But in Lagos today, we saw the Lagos state government handing over equipment to the Lagos police. I mean, is this the role of the Lagos, the state government, or is it the role of the federal government to equip the police?
Yeah, the two roles are complementary. If the state is equipping the police, it is part of their duty to provide security for their people. And Lagos State has been very, very good in that. They have always supported the police. They support them with equipment. They support them with financial support, etc. So if the Lagos State is equipping the police, it's only complementary. And the federal government has a duty to also support the state to ensure, because security is primary concern of government. And these are two tiers of government, the state and the federal. It's why the two come together and complement each other that we can have a peaceful nation. And we need a peaceful nation for progress, for intellectual development, social development, economic development. We need each other to complement one another.
So,
it's
I mean,
not a question of...
so I was going to ask you, because the situation in the Southeast region, on one hand, the situation in the Northwest, that's another thing entirely, and also the North Central region, and we have pockets of violence here and there in the Southwest, and you see agitations across the country. I'm imagining maybe there needs to be a roadmap to policing this country properly, because if you say you do not support state policing, because a lot of people have said state policing is the way to fix Nigeria's insecurity problems. So what would you suggest as a quick fix or a fix for our insecurity challenges that are multifaceted now?
The two arms of government, both the federal and the state, must complement each other in fighting insecurity. Because definitely does. Even a blind man can see that there is insecurity in the nation now. But the two arms of government must come together to make sure that Nigeria is safe for all of us. It's not sectional. The traditional rulers, all our elders, must come together and also support government to make sure that there is peace. Because it's only where there is peace that we can make progress. As I did mention this inadequacy of policing, I do not believe that Nigeria does not have enough money even to create substations along Abuja from Lokoja to Lagos, where you can have communication and to give assurance to travelers and every person that you have somebody to run to. We have surrendered our security to the government. It's a contract that we have decided not to defend ourselves. We are giving our power, we handed over to government. Therefore, the government must do all it can to provide all the necessary for security. We can have substations along from Abuja here to Lagos, where travelers who feel distress can run to. When you are in distress, you look left, you look right, and you can see no one to cry to, then you become hopeless. Therefore, that's the two tiers of government must come together, both the state government and the federal government. It's not when you create your own family police before you can police a state.
But
the state is made up of so many nations.
But Mr. Kirimale, I mean, I know you've trained in other parts of the world. You've gone on missions outside of this country. When we wonder, in which of the federal states that you have across the world, is it Australia? Is it South Africa? Is it the United States? Is it Canada? Name all of, in all of the federal states, across the globe, they have multi-layer of policing. The county, the state police and all of that, they have those multi-layer. Why is Nigeria's situation different?
Well, Nigeria has its own peculiarity. All these states you are mentioning, some of them are more developed than Nigeria. And they say the more educated the society is, the easier it is to police. These are people who believe in their constitution and will not do anything outside their constitution. But when you come to our place where you have multiple ethnic groups and so on, and you now want to create state police in which some of those performers will even abuse the power reposed in their hand in fighting other families within the same state. Let's say Delta State, for example. Within Delta State, there are many nations. You have a Robo nation. You have a Security nation. You have Kwale people. They are all nations. So there's a conflict in that state, and you want to use state police, you see a lot of accusation. So it's because I'm a Kwale man, that's why he has arrested me. That's why he's taking side, and so on. Let's have neutral people who will treat cases objectively. In most of these developed states we are talking about, it is true that they have a state police, but their situation is different from ours. They are more developed, they are more mature in democracy. But I have seen widespread policing when I was in Angola. I discovered that from a few distance to the other, you must see at least one policeman armed with AK-47 and another one just with whistle. Before you turn another corner, you will see another two standing, one with whistle. You cannot beat traffic here and expect that they will not stop you at the other end. But here in Nigeria, I pity some of the traffic wardens when I see them. People beat traffic, nobody to question them. We are supposed to have a patrol vehicle stand by those traffic wardens. So the number is inadequate. The strategy of policing is still weak. We have not considered our level of development. And
Mr. Akérèmálé,
some of the situation where.
Yeah.
Yes.
I must sincerely thank you, Mr. Abayomi Akérèmálé, former Commissioner of Police. Thank you so much for your thoughts tonight.